Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone who's watching this video right now. This video is gonna talking about types of teaching materials. This video is one of the fulfillment of individual assignment for the teaching material development of course by Mem Rini Ekayati. But before I start to explain my topics, I introduce myself. My name is Sulistianingsi Pratiwi from 5A boarding class. Okay, now let's start. Please watching this video until the end so you can understand and get the material as well. Before I tell you about the types of teaching materials, better us to know first what is teaching materials. Teaching materials are an important part that can support learning. Teaching materials are used by teachers and students during the learning process. Without teaching materials, learning will be hampered unless directed and learning objectives are not achieved optimally. Teaching materials are defined as all forms of materials, both written and unwritten, that are used to assist teachers or instructors in carrying out the learning process and become materials for students to study in order to achieve predetermined competency standards. Teaching materials contain in the form of a set of materials that are arranged systematically so that lecturers or teachers and students can use them in a comfortable and conducive learning process. Through teaching materials that are systematically arranged, each student can learn effectively to understand and apply norms, rules, attitudes, and values, perform motor actions or skills, and method knowledge, facts, concept, principle, procedure, and process, so that learning competency standard can be achieved. In addition to functioning as a guide for lecturers, teachers, and students in carrying out all learning activities, teaching materials also contain substance of competence and become a tool for evaluating achievement or mastery of learning outcomes. Teaching materials can be compiled from a variety of learning sources such as subject, object, data, facts, ideas, people, and so on, that have the potential to be studied or have the potential to concrete an atmosphere and learning process. Source of teaching materials can come from various disciplines, both from the natural and social science. The depth of coverage and breadth of the content of teaching materials must be considered carefully in accordance with the learning objectives and condition of the student's initial abilities. The development of teaching materials needs to be prepared referring to the applicable curriculum, especially those related to competencies, material standards, and achievement indicators. In addition, the preparation of teaching materials also continues to pay attention to the characteristics and needs of students, which include the social, cultural, geographical environment, and the stage of students' development. According to Kusnander, teaching materials based on subject are classified into two types. Namely, the first one, teaching materials that are intentionally designed for learning. The forms of these teaching materials include books, hands-out, students' activity sheets or LKS, and modules. The designed teaching materials are generally used as presentation materials, reference materials, and self-study materials. The second one is teaching materials that are not designed but can be used for learning. For example, clippings, newspapers, films, advertisement, or news. Okay, based on the technology used, teaching materials can be classified into four. The first one is print teaching materials, such as hands-out, books, modules, student activity sheets, brochures, leaflets, wall charts, photos, or picture and models mockups. The second, audio teaching materials, such as radio LPs, audio compact discs, audiovisual teaching materials such as video compact discs and film. The third one is interactive multimedia teaching materials such as CIA and web-based teaching materials. Teaching materials have various functions, one of which is as a source of learning for students. According to the Ministry of National Education, the function of teaching materials are as follows. The first one is teaching materials as a guide for teachers who will direct all activities and learning, as well as a substance of competence that should be taught to students. And the second is teaching materials as a guide for students and learning, as well as the substance that should be studied or mastered. The third, teaching materials as an evaluation tools for an achievement mastery of learning outcomes. I think that's all about my explanation about today's topic. See you on my next video. Bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.